Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. And if you are new here, I'm Patty, and on Mondays I make characters. And today I have a super cute gnome for you that's made out of tinsel. So he looks like a little Christmas tree, got little furry boots, little furry mittens. You want to know how to make this little guy? Stick around. I'll show you how. Thanks for watching. I love you guys. Okay, to start, I've got a cone that I got at Hobby Lobby, just a paper mache cone, and then I got some tinsel that I got on Amazon, and I'm just going to start gluing it on. Now, you can modify this any way you want to. You can use a smaller cone. You can use any kind of tinsel that you want. This is an easy project to do, and you're just going to wrap it around. And make sure that you are gluing it as you go, because if you don't, once you start getting to certain sections, it will get loose. And I'm just going to go probably about halfway up on this cone. But you do want to take time and glue in between. And then go ahead and cut that off and then glue that down. Okay, next I'm going to take some yarn and I'm just going to start at the top and I'm going to start wrapping it around. Now this is yarn by Yarn Bee and it's called Eternal Bliss. It's a thick yarn. And just going to go ahead and start spinning it around until we get all the way to the green trim. And you do want to glue between sections because you don't want it falling off. If you turn it upside down, if you don't glue it, it will come off. But just make sure that you do have it pretty thick. You don't see any of the cardboard between it. And then we're going to start building up the bottom part to make the cuff for the hat. So once you get down to the greenery and you get a little bit of it covered up, we're going to start overlapping and building it up. So you want to start going over the top of that one and gluing it down. And we're going to do that in 3 sections. Just take your time on this part because you do want to make sure that you glue it. And that way it'll look more uniform when you get done. Okay, so that's going to be the cuff. But you do want to go ahead and glue it in here, and you do want to kind of squeeze it together to make a cuff-like. And kind of make sure it's pretty straight. And if you have any flyaways there, like I just did, just go ahead and tuck them in. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping all the way back up to the top to make it a little bit thicker. And that'll blend all that back together real well. And you do want to spot glue as you're going up. And then just glue that off at the top. And then I decided to come back in and make it a little bit thicker in the front, so I'm just adding a little bit more thickness. And then go ahead and glue it in as well. Okay, next we're going to cut a beard that's 4.5 inches wide by 4 inches tall. And then we're just going to go around in a U shape from one point to the other point. Just cutting behind the faux fur only, down to that point, and then back up to the other one. And then go ahead and clean all the excess fur off. Just comb it out. And then we're just going to lift it right up underneath the trim right there. And then we're going to glue the trim to the beard. Just make sure that you get it pretty straight and then just start gluing on top of that. And you're just going to do the trim to the beard and you're going to leave the center open a little bit because we are going to add a bead in there in a little bit. And then we will seal that one up. Next, I'm just going to take a piece of styrofoam and I'm going to stick it up inside, and that's what's going to hold his legs. Now, if you have a styrofoam comb that's already got a styrofoam bottom, you can skip this step, but I just wedged this up in there and it held in there pretty good. Just kind of push it on up there, and that's what your legs are going to go through. Now, you can glue it, but mine was in here so good, I didn't worry about gluing it. Next, I'm going to take a 3-inch styrofoam ball, and I'm just going to cut it in half, and this is what I'm going to use for his feet. Okay, now you're going to sharpen 2 1/4-inch by 6-inch dowel sticks, and you're going to sharpen both ends. And I'm just using a pencil sharpener. And then you're going to run them through the styrofoam all the way to the bottom. Just kind of make sure that they stand up good. And then go ahead and test fit them to make sure that you do have them pretty straight. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and take them back out, and I'm going to cut my sticks at one side of them at 4.5 inches. So you're going to end up cutting them at 4.5 inches in length. And then I'm just going to add some glue inside that hole on the top, and I'm going to glue my stick in. And I'm going to push my stick all the way down to the bottom. Then to make my little booties, I'm just going to take a piece of felt and I'm going to glue my styrofoam balls to it. And this is going to make the bottom of the shoe. And then I'm just going to cut those out, and I'm going to cut a circle around them, and then I'm going to cut little slits in them so I can glue them to the sides of the shoe. That way when you're covering them, you won't see any of that. Just go all the way around the circle and then do like little 1/2 inch slits all the way around, and that's what we're going to glue it to the styrofoam. Glue it to the felt and then to the styrofoam, and it won't melt your felt as much. I mean, won't melt your styrofoam as much. And then do the exact same thing with the second one. Okay, next I'm just going to take some fur trim that's 10 inches by 3 inches, and I'm just going to start wrapping my shoe. Now I got this trim at Hobby Lobby. It just comes on a roll and you can cut it to size, but it's just a furry trim. You can use any kind of trim or anything that you want for these shoes. And then just keep going around till you get to the back, and then we're going to glue those sides together. And we're just going to fold that back so you have a nice seam right there, and you just have fur up against fur. This is an easy way to make shoes, and they're big enough where you didn't have to add weights to them. It's kind of blended in there together. Then we're just going to gather it up, and I'm just going to put some glue right on top of that ball, and I'm just going to squeeze it together until it dries. And then I'm going to come back in with a string and tie it off and tie a bow. And then make the other one exactly the same way. We're just going to go ahead and test fit them just to make sure before we glue them in. Make sure he stands up good. And then we're going to go ahead and pull them back out, and we're going to glue them in. Now I'm just going to put glue on the stick itself. I'm not going to put glue up into the styrofoam because this will help it not melt as much. Just push it on up there, all the way up there, and then make sure that they're even and they're both level when you get done. Now I'm going to go ahead and make the mittens. I'm taking a piece of fabric that's 4 inches by 3 3/4 inches. I'm just going to fold it in half and cut it in half. And then I'm going to fold it in half again and cut it in half again. Okay, then we're going to do just like we do a beard. You're just going to kind of go in a U shape down to the bottom and back up the other side. And we're just going to make little mittens. And then we're going to use that one as a pattern for the other one. So you're just going in a U shape. They don't have to be perfect, but just kind of make it in a U shape. Then we are going to glue the facing sides together. And then we're going to glue the fur at the top and around the sides too in a minute. So go ahead and glue them together, leaving the end open. Okay, then take a comb and comb it all forward, towards it's outward. And then we're going to glue along that seam line and squeeze it together, and that will seal that in where it doesn't look like it has a seam. It'll glue the hair together and it'll become one. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and stuff them with some stuffing, just a little bit of stuffing to make them look like, they have more depth to them. And then I'm just going to glue the bottom shut. And do the same thing with the other one. Okay, next I'm just going to take a 1 inch wooden bead, and I'm just going to attach it right below the trim of the hat. And I'm going to run the holes in mine up and down, so we'll cover it up here in a second. Just go ahead and lift your trim up and just glue that right to your nose. And now for the little mittens, I'm just going to glue those right into the side. Just put a little bit of glue right on the bottom part there. And then we're going to kind of glue the tinsel to it to hold it all together. And then I'm just going to pull back the tinsel a little bit, put a little bit of glue in here, and then just kind of comb it in all together. And then we're going to do the same thing with the other arm. So I'm just going to take a little metal star. I'm going to paint it brown. And then I'm going to come back in with some dark brown and kind of distress it a little bit. And this is what I'm going to put on top of his head, like the topping of the Christmas tree. I'm just going to take a little brown jute, tie it around there. And then I'm just going to tie it right on top. Pretty simple. All right, there you have it. He turned out super cute. It kind of looks like a little mountain man. If you like these kind of videos, be sure and give me a like. If you want to see future videos, be sure and subscribe and ring that bell to be notified when I have a new video upload. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it.